This podcast is rated PG-13.
That's right. If you want to hear the rest of that joke, you have to look on the cutting room floor.
Let's just... kind of sprayed everywhere instead of a nice even stream into the... Hey, we're on camera. How you guys doing? So what am I doing? We want to repot this? We put it into that other pot and we just took it out of.
We just, that little round Japanese pot?
Yeah.
If it's time for that thing to move.
It is time, because I hate...
2 years ago, 2 visits ago, is when you chopped up you split the roots on that. And put this plant in the ground.
It was 2 years ago on Thanksgiving. Because he says 2 Thanksgiving ago, and then it says 2 years on Thanksgiving. It's not quite the same thing, because Thanksgiving happens on a different day every year. Or different
Thursday,
different date every year, I should say. Happens on the 3rd Thursday of the month, I think.
Kind of weird, man.
Weird?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a numerological thing. You know, if you follow the conspiracy theories about Lincoln, which goes all the way up to the fact that, Lincoln was killed in Ford's theater, and Lincoln makes, or Ford makes Lincolns.
Oh my God.
And Kennedy was killed in a Cadillac on Lincoln. No, never heard that stuff before? My teacher in school would say, "This is crazy. I don't understand it." And he went through a whole thing about the Lincoln and the Ford and
right.
And they were both killed on a specific day.
The connection with the names of the...
Yeah. There's so many letters in Lincoln and so many letters in Kennedy, and they were both about to do something spectacular. And
somebody would... There's a Booth link in there somewhere between the two of them.
Yeah. Lincoln was killed by Booth in a booth watching a show, and Kennedy was killed in the back seat. That's where he...
So other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the show?
Yeah.
Holy crap, that thing really filled in fast. Do roots act like shoots in the same way? If you chop the snot out of roots on a tree that's like a ficus that grows them back easy, do they grow back faster than if you only like slightly nibbled on the ends? You know the question I'm asking?
Interesting question, yes. It's the same question that people ask, well, why do you defoliate a tree and cut it back so hard? And well, if you don't cut it back, it doesn't grow.
So, like, I get nervous trying to think in the same ways about leaves that I think about roots.
Well, some roots
just to like chop the top doesn't make me feel like chopping the bottom is going to be any better. So.
The roots are a little different because it's a different, like you said, it's like the meristem, or the tip of the root is like
right.
that cell width length, and they're more easily damaged, but
well, you don't diffuse into a second layer of cells. It's got to be that first layer that does the work.
Yeah.
Even if you're paying to pump in the nutrient, you still have to use the outside cell.
Yeah.
I mean, you could trade, sodium for potassium if you wanted, right? You could swap stuff out that way, but you got to pay for it. But still, it's only that surface area that gets to work. So, like, if I cut back all the tips of my roots, do I just have to know in my head that there's plenty of single cell protrusions left, that it'll be fine? Okay.
That's what one would hope.
Yeah.
But interestingly, the trees that don't back bud well, the same happens to their roots a lot of the time.
Oh.
Or if you have dieback, so like a Brazilian rain tree, it won't grow between the nodes.
Well, right.
So if you cut it here, it won't grow until it gets to here. So it's the same with the roots on a Brazilian rain tree. When you cut them,
You
you
gotta
don't die
watch where
back to the next
branch.
the next meristem or whatever. So it's like air layering. Like that. Your cambium is only like a layer, a one cell layer thick as well. But then again, so just to contradict everything like that, the Brazilian rain tree air layer is easier than any other tree out there, in my opinion. And yet we get dieback on the roots, and if you cut them back too hard, it'll die, or if you cut the top back too high, it dies. So,
But I will gladly, if you tweak me enough, grow roots right out of my trunk.
yep.
Thank you. Have a nice day. All right.
Just to keep us on our toes.
Well, yeah. Generalizations don't work really well.
Yeah.
They all fall apart when you push them, right? Okay. Tree of Threes.
A tree of trees.
I don't know. I was going to call it the Tree of Threes. See if I can get there. 3 main branches and 3 branches off each of those. Let's see if we can keep a theme going here, because that's three.
Is that trifurcation instead of bifurcation?
Yeah, that's correct. That'd be weird though if we really pull that off. We must do it.
Today's show is brought to you by the letter T, like trifurcation. And the number 3. 1, 2, 3.
3 branches from 1 point. Whoa! All right, we were doing trifurcation, right?
And if we had 12 fingers on our hands instead of 10.
Hey, little 12 toes.
Yep.
Come on home. Yeah, I can't believe that was actually had me thinking in base 12 when I was still trying to figure out how to spell the word bill.
So you may have to explain that reference to the rest of the audience here.
Oh, a long time ago, there were cartoons that would show up in between. They were advertisement cartoons that showed up in between the episodes in our Bugs Bunny show, the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour. But there was a time when our parents would just leave us alone all on Saturday morning, and we would sit and stare at the television until Bugs Bunny went away and the news showed up, and then we got kicked outside.
Wild World of Sports.
Wild World of Sports was
what was that? CBS or was that whatever that was?
In any case, they had that whole collection of cartoon advertisements that stick between them called Schoolhouse Rock, where they would discuss basics of grammar and fundamentals of civics and
lonely old Bill.
And one of the things they do is they did math, and there was a song for each of the numbers, and we had to memorize the multiplication tables. Is what they mostly were advertising there. Not too much division, multiplication. And when they had it, I don't think there was an 11. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look, but there was a 12. And the concept behind the ad was that you could count to 12, and it would only look like 1 and a 0 on your page because you were in base 12. It was very confusing at the time, but I understood it. And then I went to school and learned that I didn't like it, so it didn't make a difference.
I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
Don't you know?
Conjunction. Yep.
Right. Looking up words and phrases, and
I watch Electric Company because they had Spider-Man on it. Electric Company. Yep. There's a jet.
We might get Sonic Boom today. We're close to the.
That's pretty
You can see it. Look at the. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wowie kazowie, man! There are a lot less roots in there than I thought there were.
One less.
It's perfect.
They don't really grow many roots. Interesting thing about the morphology. So the guy who finally named it, gave it a name.
What?
Ficus salicaria.
Okay.
It was C.C. Berg, B-E-R-G, who named it. He used to be the ficus guy in the entire world. He's the expert that everybody asked questions of, and he was the guy who named this particular ficus, the willow leaf ficus. He named it Ficus salicaria. And he didn't name it after himself, so there's at least that. But he was thinking morphology. This particular ficus is one that we don't know where it came from quite yet. There's somebody who said that there was genetic testing done on it, but genetic testing costs a lot of money, so I'm not sure if that's true or not. But because it had willow-shaped leaves, which salicaria literally means willow-like foliage. So he was thinking it was like a willow tree that grew on the edges of the water. So if you go to Crohn's Conservatory in Cincinnati, they have one inside there. They're at the arboretum there in the tropical rainforest section that has water and everything. And there's a willow leaf ficus that is like a full-size tree, a trunk that big, and it's 15, 20 feet tall, growing right on the edge of their fake stream. And it doesn't really have a shape to it. This doesn't look like anything at all except for just like a lump of a tree.
Well, I've noticed whenever I chop the ends of this thing, it really branches out a lot if I chop it to a thick part. So I suppose in the wild, any breaks would make it look like that, and pretty soon it would be this giant clump.
It does make me think it's a mutant because of everywhere it grows, which makes no sense. Some people think it's a variety of Ficus pertusa.
Some people call me the gangster of love.
Some people call me Maurice. Wow, wow. Your wife looked up. What did I miss? What did I miss?
Right.
So it was 2 years ago when we worked on this last?
Yep. And at that time, these two trees were roots that you cut off the edge.
No.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to try and figure out where it went, but yep.
It's a sweet little tree.
And this one was
I
wrapped around.
saw on Facebook's marketplace or Facebook sales on bonsai sales. Guy was selling that tree. It was in a regular bonsai pot instead of plastic, but it was like $500.
Good. All right. I guess the tree's worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it.
Yeah, that's
how the system's working, it seems.
People who are willing to pay a lot for bonsai.
Well, what you're buying is the time, right?
Yep. And I hate to say it, there's a lot of older people in bonsai, and they don't have the time to grow it.
Right. Well, I think if we paid more attention to presenting bonsai in an everyman's way rather than in an elitist
kind of thing, yeah.
Right? I mean, like, can't I just get a pair of regular scissors? Don't I have pliers already in my toolbox? Right? Does it have to be this kind of pot? You know, I think that there's been some built-in capitalism around it.
Not necessarily capitalism, because you still need soil and you still need wire and all that stuff. It's built in. It's elitism, just like you said. So, like, we'll talk about Askadamwhy.
Right.
Askadamwhy is a good substrate, good.
That's the one everyone says you're supposed to do your azaleas in, right?
No, that's Kanuma as for azaleas. But the problem is that we're going to an island It's a big island, but it's still an island, and we're digging up their resources
Oh, the
to
Askadamwhy.
put in a plastic bag, put it on a boat, and that boat goes to California and then gets distributed from California to the rest of the United States. I'm in Florida. How far away is Florida from California?
About as far as you can get.
About as far as you can get, yeah. And we have perfectly good materials to use
In our own backyard.
in our own backyard to use, and it doesn't have to be something that we've dug from the ground. Even, mining is not a very environmentally
Friendly thing
friendly
to do,
thing
yeah.
to do, especially taking all the good soil out of the ground.
And then leaving nothing on that island. That sounds very colonial.
Very colonial. There you go.
I don't really care about you, but you got some good stuff here.
Yep.
I'm gonna hang out here until it's gone. Then I'll see you later. Will we work on any of those today? We
do
might
something
hit
with the
that
bald
big.
cypress.
He wants to work on the bald cypress.
Do we have raffia by any chance?
Maybe.
We can go down to the store and get raffia. We can do it tomorrow. Or
I think I have, that's like wrapping, right? The white wrapping needs to get soaked.
Yep.
I have a small amount of that somewhere as like a sample giveaway, right? Bald cypress are I like my feet wet.
you can water whatever you want to water. Water everything. Because you watered everything else.
I hope not.
There's 2 holes in it that I can see from here.
What, the watering can?
Yeah, on the top and on the.
She's
on
talking
the end,
about the tin baking tray
Oh, okay.
that the bald cypress are soaking in, trying to make them think that they're in a swamp. I like my feet wet. That's right.
You want your trees watered again?
I don't know. Is the buttonwood and the rain tree, or they need to be repotted bad? So maybe take a look at those 2, and then the other one that's right next to it.
I know which tree those are.
You do?
You would recognize
No,
a buttonwood. You've seen a rain tree.
Okay, the rain tree is the one that's going to stab you and leave you in the eye in the alley. The 3 ones in bonsai pots that you're standing in front of there.
Right.
There you go.
That's the same direction I give her. Water anything with bonsai pot. Okay, so that was where I was stuck on that tree. It got like really crazy at the end, right? And some of the things it did on the end were to swoop up towards the end of the branch.
Mm-hmm.
So I was confused as to, do I cut them off because they're on top of the branch growing up, or do I cut the branch back to that?
Yeah, you could do the 2 things. You can either cut it back to that,
right?
And that's how some bonsai people say, never cut so that the wound is on the top. So, like, let me see if I can see.
There's probably an example of me doing that because I kept.
Or, don't. They say always cut it so that you can bring it down, and it does give. So, like here, I could cut there and start the branch over with. Or if there's one coming out the bottom, I can cut here and then start there again. But I don't think there's a particular rule of thumb of that. But if it's grown down, you can cut it off, and if it's grown up, you cut it off, and just bring it to. I always want to try to shorten it on these, so that you bring the growth further back.
Right.
So this was out to here, and I just cut it all the way. So now I go from here to there instead of way out here. I always try to cut it back.
So always now, is this a general tree statement, or for willow leaves, make sure you chase the foliage back towards the trunk?
Because the willow leaf grows like that, with 15 coming from one spot, you tend to want to cut it back more than other trees that only grow from the nodes. These ones grow. I think there's nodes everywhere. So
Right.
like I could trunk chop it just about anywhere and it would grow right from where I chopped it.
Right.
That's the same with a bald cypress. If you tend to cut it, it'll
Yeah.
grow right from the end of the cut.
But that's different than like the rain tree you were describing to me
Yep.
earlier, where
Rain tree dies
in between
bad,
the nodes, there's nothing here that's going to start a new branch. Okay.
Yep.
So I guess you're going to tell me I need to learn about my trees now.
Yes. Yeah. The
I
biggest
already learned something today. I'm done. I thought I was done for the day.
the biggest rule of thumb that I teach is that there's no such thing as a rule of thumb in bonsai.
Truth.
Because number one, it's like a dance, and we're dancing with another thing that's alive. So we have to do something, and it does something back to us. Or it's like the blues, the call and response,
Yep.
where I'll play something and someone else plays something, and back and forth like that. And sometimes the tree will do one thing; it'll zig when it should zag, or it should zag when it should zig. And I wish it were easy, like always do this, but
Right.
anyone who tells you to always do this usually has something else to sell you to go along with that always. Like always use Askadamwhy. Or always use a concave cut paste, and you're not going to get the correct cut unless you use a concave cutter.
Again, so here we are, and making it expensive and separatist and elitist to do the thing. I got to have a fancy concave cutter. Can't I just use my clipper from my rose garden?
We can. I mean, when we had, we would always have John Naka, Ben Oki and stuff. They always came in and they just come in with the red-handled Coronas or something like that and do most of the tree with that. I prefer these because they make my hands look elegant when I really have big gorilla
Chunky hands. Okay.
So this looks nice.
So it's elitist and vain.
In vain, yeah.
Okay.
But I think when we talk about pruning scissors, this part on the bottom doesn't matter
As much as the
as this part right there, yeah. So if you can buy the kitchen scissors from Joyce Chen and they fit your hand well and they do the job, it doesn't matter. You don't need the $100 ones. Now the people who get, and this will annoy some people, but the people who get caught up in the trappings, in the rituals,
like, yeah,
and dare say I even say traditions. It's less about being a bonsai artist and more about being a dilettante and belonging to a
the
club.
bonsai club. Yeah, I'm one of those people.
The first time I went and saw some, it was at like a regular plant show at a botanical garden, and I go up and I start talking to them, and I'm looking at the books they have, and I'm like, wow, this book here, that's pretty cool. And they're like, oh, you can't buy that book in any bookstore or get it from the library. You have to get it from the bonsai specific place. And it's like, well, I can now. Ever hear of Amazon? But it bugs me. It's like, it's bonsai. We are doing bonsai. My job is to bring bonsai to the people.
Yeah. Okay, a piece of cake too. Hey, Becca, could you find a way to slide this in the space where that food container and his rippet are, so that he has access to virgin wire as well? Please. And thank you. Oh, there's another one of your canned bonsai sounds you gotta have. Chopsticks on soil.
Yeah.
Is that ASMR? Hold your microphone right up to it, Adam.
So relaxing. Relaxing.
Relaxing.
The scissors. There's no sound of wiring. Sorry.
We can make one though. It'd be really funny. We use a slide whistle. Yep.
And snip.
Or I don't know the sound of a Tesla. Those Tesla coils.
Oh yeah.
See, now that would be a fun thing to throw on your Facebook page or somewhere like that. Here's the contest. What sound effect should I use for wiring? Send your MP3 files.
There's some wire if you need more wire. I'm wired enough. This is just really scaring me.
You pre-breaking things.
Yep. It's more polite to massage it before you bind it. Where did you get stainless steel wire from?
In the garage somewhere.
In the box labeled wire, remember? Gee. If you need soil, there's a box.
Not so good for holding branches, but it's nice for like guy wires and things like that.
Yep.
I'm saving popsicle sticks. I don't know what for yet. Sounds like a arts and crafts with Westland.
Well, you know, this box, it's either wire or it's craft herbs.
Oh. I don't know what craft herbs are. Can you explain it to us, Julie?
That's not our box. Somewhere we got it. I got it probably at a garage sale or rummage sale. All those containers.
Well, this would have been a question I asked. What is a craft herb? And say, well,
Ask Adam. What is a craft herb?
it's a craft herb. So
That's one way to solve the problem.
Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire.
Wash your sister sauce. Do you like that?
Wash your sister sauce.
Do you like that? Have you ever had fried bologna with that?
I have not actually.
Butter, roasted chicken in your frying pan, bologna in there.
Well, it's hard to find like good bologna.
It doesn't have to be good bologna. Cheap bologna, cheap white bread, all the way.
All the way.
See.
And that's why you chose her, because she's a cheap date.
Yeah, you can get it all fired up on fried bologna and Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire sauce. I like the best one was wash your sister sauce.
Twisted sister sauce.
Okay. I appreciate you giving me the air kiss without actually having to put your lips onto my sweaty, obnoxious neck. Yeah.
Are you like really hot?
No.
Huh? You're
I'm alright for
sweating.
now.
You're sweating.
I am sweating. You are not.
No, if I were home, just standing here like this, I'd be sweating. Not even touching anything. But
Relative kind of thing.
I told you that we were like, what do you think we should do? She was that cover the whole dining room, everything on the table and on the floor, basement. I'm like, let's play by ear. We live in Florida. This is what we're about to do. This is anything.
yeah, this was like April or like
December.
December.
I think we actually had a cold Christmas this year, though.
You do that. Right?
Yeah, it was kind of a cold Christmas. It
You
felt
babe.
Christmassy.
Hey, my sweat rag. Love you. You have to be concerned about that knot that's rotting out.
Here?
Yep.
It's actually healing. It's mostly healed.
Oh.
It's kind of ugly, but
Are you picking at its scab?
Just give me scab lessons, yeah.
I can
Just cut around the edges and make it grow in, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if since the density of the wood underneath it is kind of lost density, it's fluffy now and it picks out real easy. It didn't used to do that. It was much more solid. So I wasn't sure if there was something going on the inside I needed to worry about.
No, the way a ficus heals is different. So you get like a maple, you cut the deal off the maple, cut the branch off the maple. You have just a cut. It heals right over the top of the wood and grows right over it. On a ficus, because it rots so much, the wood just rots, and as it heals, it doesn't slide over it. It actually does this kind of twisting thing like this until it meets in the middle and closes up like that right there.
Cool. I'll have to watch for that.
And I've seen it because I've cut through cross sections of healed pieces, and I can see that on a ficus.
Out for the thumb there, Superman.
Yeah, safety first. You always cut towards your buddy, not your body.
That's me. I'm the buddy.
My buddy. You know that doll?
Yeah.
Big sister.
Yeah.
Kid's sister.
And then there was Chucky.
And I put an end to that whole thing.
Vaguely
Nice.
African looking, right?
Yeah.
Looks a lot better in that one.
You'd like this pot better?
Yep.
Than this green one? It does look better in this pot.
Which pot was it in? That one?
Put that one back on the swap me spot.
Go call for
Huh?
2
That one
ounces
looks
of
like it's
vodka.
gonna bite you.
This one?
Yeah. It's like an alien face.
No, it's from Stranger Things. That kind of.
Yes.
Blah, blah.
Ah.
It's got a forked tongue and everything.
Ah. Fuck it, I'm taking it out of the pot.
It needed to come out the pot.
It did. That's such a cool pot, though.
Boy, it can go right back in.
Cool.
Repot does not always mean it needs a new pot. Right, Adam?
Although I hate this shaped pot.
Well,
Not yours, so it doesn't-
what other little flat pots do we got?
No, it has nothing to do with aesthetics. It has everything to do with the structure of it. So my tables, they go this way, the boards go that way, right? So if I take this and I sit it there, one of the legs falls in one of the holes.
Which is why Adam doesn't have clover-shaped pots.
Yep. Although Leanne had some that were,
Quite nice.
she put the legs here and here and there and there.
Are we looking for a new one for that?
No.
You hear that, pot makers? Instead of putting the legs like that, you put them here. Then it's a four-legged pot this way, and it doesn't look like it's falling over.
Or you just put it on a flat surface.
Listen, Linda.
Is that the new Karen?
No, that's old. That's from what is that from? Listen, Linda.
Some kid with a
Some little
video,
kid,
right?
Yeah, listen, Linda. Yeah.
He's talking to
Linda's like the mom.
mom or something, yeah. She's trying to keep her shit together while the kid's saying funny stuff like, "Listen, Linda." That's not where I wanted to put those.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. They'll fit right in. Food for somebody later on.
Feed for the worms.
Oh, Columbia Service Partners is smart. They're sending out which we may have already have. I know I signed up for something. Sewer line insurance, for lack of a better word.
To pay off your local politician, is that what that is?
No, so if we were going to sell a house and they say,
Mhm.
oh, you have to replace it, I would have this policy that would pay for it.
Oh,
So-
I don't know, man. That's a tough risk. Did you say they did 13 this year and 11 of them failed?
Yeah.
I would not want to be in the insurance market for something with that rate of
Right.
failure. I'd be
Well-
paying out claims all the time.
We get this all the time, but I'm not sure if that's the one. Because, like, you're responsible for your water line from X to
Right.
A to B, and I don't know what those are. Same thing with your electrical, and obviously same thing with the sewage. Exterior water service line coverage and exterior sewer/septic line coverage. We might already have that. I was thinking about that too. Because it costs thousands of dollars. $3.49 per month for water service and $6 for sewer. So $10 a month. Savings at 50% off all things. Wow, that's a really nice breeze that I think is coming from the air. Off this cab. That could be wrong. How's that?
Okay, we told you wrong, but I'm a dancing fool.
Oh.
Sorry. You know that Zappa tune?
I don't. I've been meaning to get into Frank Zappa, but
Look up Dancing Fool. We are not allowed to play it.
No, but it's okay. He's saying it right into the microphone.
But I sang enough of a hint that probably even your
Audience.
well, you can reference things if it's satirical. So like if we played it and we said, yeah, that's the worst song ever. It's the bridge doesn't resolve back into the we can use it that way, but we can't use it.
we can't say it's awesome.
Time to clock out.
Oh, time to clock out.
4 o'clock.
See you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Found some more of that hot pepper jelly.
So what time is it then?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Time to walk down to the store because it's almost 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh. What are we getting?
You can drive, if you like.
I know I'm
I
capable.
think it's beer of some sort.
Yeah,
Right.
Is it a beer night or is it beer like the
It's both.
appetizer to the scotch tasting?
The beer is the appetizer to the scotch. We can drink beer out here for quite some time before we go inside.
Well, there's 5 Guinness genuses.
Guinness is like a meal.
Right.
Guinness.
It's not a beer.
You need something much lighter for an afternoon, kind of. Yeah.
Mick
I do.
Ultra.
No. Well, you can get it Mick Ultra,
He likes like
real beer.
like natty, like you said, or
Natty is real?
Well, the regular, not light,
Oh.
like Michelob Dark. Remember that?
Yeah. I like that.
You know what
Miller
it's called
High
now?
Life.
Killian's Red. I enjoyed that one around the same time they came out.
Yeah, and it's
Corona.
not. Killian's Red is not Killian's Red what it used to be.
What's the other
It's
one?
not.
Modelo.
It used to actually be an ale, and now it's just a lager.
Oh.
Yeah, when
I
it
really
first came-
enjoyed that. Like when I was trying to decide if I could have beer as part of the things I drink on a regular basis.
Yep.
That was what worked for me was Killian's Red and Guinness. Like those were the two that actually made me feel like I was drinking something worth having. All of the rest of it was just so watery. It seemed.
Well, what the Michelob Dark now? That's what Amber Bock. So if you remember the advertisement that says "Don't be afraid of the dark,"
Yeah.
so people were afraid of the dark, so they just rebranded it Amber Bock.
Ah.
So amber, if you pour it into a thing, Amber Bock is not amber color, and it's not a Bock. A Bock is a specific type of ale that or lager that you brew in Germany, and it's a little bit strong. And then double Bock is when it's brewed further and further and all that kind of stuff.
So
go get some
what
beer.
kind of beer do you want, right?
Just you should have Yingling here.
Yeah, that's good.
The other one.
That's bright and fruity.
You get some Yingling. You can get some.
Are you sending me to the store?
Yeah.
What's that other one? Blue Moon or something? That one.
No, I don't like
That one was kind of vapid and fruity.
Adams.
Vapid and fruity. You do Sam Adams.
Yeah.
They might have the ale up here. They don't have it down in Florida, but they do have it here. The Boston Ale.
The regular one.
No. That's a lager
Boston Locker. Okay.
with the Boston Ale.
Well, we're gonna finish this treat so I can turn off the recording this.
Priest, a rabbit, and a.
I love this one.
How does it go? A priest, a rabbit, and a
Pastor
priest,
and anybody, right?
Rabbi.
and an imam. I think maybe
Okay.
go into a bar. No,
No, they go to donate blood.
you go donate blood. And
Maybe John should tell the joke since he knows it better than you.
yeah, well,
No, you got to work your way through it.
yeah.
So the next time it comes off smooth.
Well, I've never told it actually. I've written it down. Anyway, the priest goes up and they say, what's your blood type? And he says, I think I'm A positive. Rabbi, or the imam goes up. You know, um,
Pick one.
I'm AB negative, AB positive, whatever it is. Anyway, then the rabbit goes up and they say, what's your blood type? And the rabbit says, I think I'm a typo.
Supposed to be a rabbi. Or
Yeah,
a rabbit.
So he's a typo.
Right.
typo.
Yes, that's why you couldn't pick rabbi when usually it's priest or rabbi.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But you have to make it so obvious that it should be rabbi that everyone just glosses over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mic up there in that.
Huh? Can hear it? So ASMR and other delight. What does that stand for? Auditory stimulating my rear? What? ASMR? Is that, no. I raised it up in a pot a little more. And now we can see all of these nice roots right there. And I turned it just a little bit more so you can see more of the openness.
So you cleaned out the gap.
Yep.
Bow-legged thing, nice.
That was here. Now it looks like one of those trees that are chasing the tornado in silly symphonies. Welcome to Jurassic Park. She was humming it and I just finished it there. You seen Jurassic Park? There's no aliens. There's animals, but they're there. You go.
I think I have that one.
Probably not. Do you remember Jeff Goldblum saying, "Life will find a way"?
Life will find a way.
Then no.
Or that saying is, just because you can do it doesn't mean
Doesn't
you
mean you
should.
should.
There you go. Like that one. Oh, Mrs. Scott. Okay, we're done. We is done.